I'm going to give people a few minutes to find me. I apologize for being so late, having some technical difficulties. So I'm going to let y'all find me now that I've gone live for real. I'm excited to share with you another Christmas in July project. So let's see if we can get this done. I'm gonna so I've been on for about 40 seconds now. I'm gonna probably give people 2 minutes to find me, and I'm going to turn you down, and I'll continue talking, but I need to do something on my computer in order to get other people here. So let's see if I can turn you down, and you can watch me type. How about that? Do you want to watch me type? Let's see. I gotta arrange this a little bit. So I was getting something to eat in my town during the summer. We have food trucks. Oh, hi Betty. Yeah, I was having some trouble getting on. So I'll tell you the whole story actually. So I was having I got caught up doing a little bit of work. I was entering something in, and then I found that my husband's like, "You want to get something to eat before we go on?" I'm like, "Sure, we have time." So we went down to the food trucks that are in my town in the summer, and well, let's just say that I picked the Thai food wagon, and I love them, but unfortunately, um, I picked it at a wrong time, and so I guess I cannot do this. But I picked the wrong one. They ran out of chicken, so we had to wait longer. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late. So I was late, and then when I went on, my phone wasn't. I started before I rotated my phone, and then once you've started, you can't rotate your phone to the proper orientation. So there's that. I'm just going to tell people to head on over to my YouTube channel. I'm live right now. All right. So if people can't find me, then they're probably going to have to just watch the replay. But Betty found me. Oh, a bunch of you found me. I see 4 people on. So make sure you let me know who's on. I can't necessarily see you. I think because, you know what, maybe if I go to my channel itself, maybe it will let me watch myself. I don't know. How does that work? Let's see. So anyway, oh, there I am. Look at that. Okay, good. So I'm all set. So if you guys go ahead and you can chat and maybe I can see you. Yes. So Betty said, I'm glad you were late. I was flipping the food in my air fryer and didn't realize what time it was. Well, at least you had the food. So thank you for joining me. And yes, Sheila, I know that other one's private because I messed it up. I couldn't get the right orientation. So, but we're here now, and I have saved the best project for last for my Christmas in July. So let me show you what I'm building on. So this spring, I held a class, and we made this home decor element. So I live in a beach community, as many of you know, and so we made this. I had gotten the idea. This is a little bit different than the one, the original idea. So the original idea was this one, and I love this one as well. I made both of them. But this uses the By the Bay bundle and the beautiful designer series paper that is no longer with us, unfortunately. The stamp set is, but the designer series paper is not. But since I live in a beach community and I love all things beachy, I made this, and then I made a different one, and this one is currently hanging in my kitchen. A little dusty here. I should probably clean it. And so I had also made another one. So this is another insert that could go into a frame. And this would look great in a little baby's room, I think. Such cute little critters. And so that was Playing in the Rain Designer Series paper. And I had lots of fun with that. But tonight we're going to make a wintry, Christmassy theme. And I'm not really going to make it overtly Christmas, just a little bit Christmas, just in the colors, and the theme is winter, because I tend to keep some of my decorations up way longer than I should, and so I don't know that I'll keep it all Christmas. It'll just be wintry, but it's my favorite. So I just got these white 8x8 frames on Amazon, I think, and the more you buy, the better the deal is that you get. But the most expensive, the most that you're going to pay is probably $10. And so the finished frame is about 9x9, and what shows in here is 8x8. So I'm going to get started here. And again, I am running late because I was at a lake all day with some friends, and it was just a whole big process. But we're going to start. Never mind the banging, crashing that's going on in my room as I get to things. I'm going to start with Misty Moonlight. And I love Misty Moonlight. I think it's such a beautiful winter color. I mean, it can go for any time, but I love it for this reason, for this project. So I'm going to cut this to 8x8. Now, if you look at this one, the 8x8 is white, and then the bulk of it is a smaller size. I think it's 6x6. Same thing, well, not quite the same thing with this one. I did leave a white border, so you've got white and then some color. This one I'm going to do the whole thing in Misty Moonlight, so I'm going to do 8x8. And I will put the directions up on my blog for this, as well as the link to this replay, since many people may not have been able to find it, or probably gave up on my original attempt at going live. Sorry about that. Anyway, so there's an 8x8 piece. And then what I want to do is I want to have a mat of white, because let's face it, when you live where I live, you're going to see a lot of white. So I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white, and I'm going to cut this, and I'm just measuring off to the side here. I wanted this to be 6.5 by 6.5. And again, the measurements are totally whatever you want it to be. But 6.5 requires me to open up this arm. Now I'm using something bigger than 6 because the paper that I'm using is 6x6, and I'm not cutting it down at all, which makes this super easy. So this is going to be 6.5 by 6.5, which will give me a 1/4 inch border all the way around my paper. Now again, we're going to be using the One Horse Open Sleigh Designer Series paper. Let me bring some of those papers out again. So see, we have a couple of different pieces. Now this one doesn't have any blue in it. I'm not going to use that. I could use this one. That's very, very pretty. I mean, I know what I want to do, so I'm not going to be using some of these. I'm not going to use the aerial shot. I could use this one, because that goes nicely with the blues too. And let's see. This is the one we used for our tags on that first day of Christmas in July. And I'm trying to find the one it's because I set it aside. And then there's this one. This is the one, I have one done that uses this one. So I'm torn now whether or not I should do that one and show you the finished product there, or if I should use this one. What do you think? So this one is option 1. This one is option 2. They both go with this color. So it doesn't matter to me. If you want to vote, that would be great. I know there's 7 of you watching. There's probably more of you watching, but you may not be logged in. You may be watching it on another device. So Anne, if you're here and watching it on another device, I cannot see you. I can't see your name unless you go to the chat, but you're probably not going to do that if you're on your TV. I want to give a shout out to Anne and to Ruth. I don't know if Ruth is on here tonight either. Both of them are fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrators who purchased some of the Kits Collection kits from me this week. Now, they're demonstrators and they still purchased a kit because they wanted to help with my fundraiser for autism. So as many of you know, July is my fundraising month. It's Independence Day month, and the charity that I am raising funds for is A House for Me, which helps adults with special needs achieve a level of independence that they might not otherwise be able to have. It puts them in a home with some supports there. Now, remember, these are adults, and sometimes, my adult child lives with me. However, he won't always probably be able to live with me because, I might not be around, if you know what I mean. Just in case he sees this, I have to talk a little bit in code word. Or we may not be physically able to care for him. And I would hope that he would be able to get into some place where he could be independent, but it would be like a home. So not a group home where there's a lot of individuals and staff that kind of comes in and out and they're just paid to be there and may or may not care as much as something like a family unit would. So this Home for Me in Southern Maine does that. And so I want to help them raise some funds. In Maine right now, there is a waiting list that is a mile long. So it used to be something like 800 families or individuals looking to get into a home. And now it is over 2,000. And that is just terrible. And there's only like 10 or 15 that come off a year. So most of them won't ever get into a housing situation provided by the state. So that's why I want to help with this. All right, so I've got 1 vote for 1 and no votes for this one. This one's my favorite one, but okay, Sheila, we'll do the other one. I anticipated that. And it's good because just like with this one, I have 2 choices. I lost my other choice already, but now I'll have 2 choices. All right, so we're going to use this whole piece right here. Now we're going to bring in the horse and sleigh bundle. Again, avoid the crashing sounds that you hear. No stamps or dies were hurt in the making of this video. So the horse and sleigh has this beautiful little sleigh piece coming on here. I don't need the word joyful. But I'm going to bring out the horse and the sleigh. And I need my big clear block because that's the one that fits this die. This stamp. It's a big stamp. Now I'm going to get a piece of basic white cardstock out. And this is just a scrap. It's more than a scrap. But I do need a fairly large piece. Oh, look, here's a better one. I do need a fairly large piece to stamp on because it's a fairly large stamp. And I'm going to stamp in Memento Black. I'm going to be coloring this in with my blends. So you can actually stamp with the basic gray if you want it a little bit more subtle. That'll work as well. I'm going to stamp with this one, I think. We'll see how that comes out. It looks like, it looks like there's something on my stamp. I probably should have washed it. Yeah, that didn't come out too well. Let me give that a little wash. Not sure what's on that. I might have done some Versamarking with it and it's falling up because of that. I don't know. We'll see. Let's try it again. There's another side of paper, which is one reason why I love stamping. All right, let's try this again. And that is pretty dark. You know what? I think I am going to go with the basic gray. I'm going to change my mind. I'm not going to use Memento. I'm going to use basic gray. Because this is water-based, I can use this with my blends. You just don't want to use alcohol-based outline with alcohol markers. Just like you don't want to use a water-based marker with a water-based pad, because the two will smear. When they are the like kind of medium, they will blend with each other, and you don't really want that. All right, so let's just let that set in there for a second. All right, much better. All right, and now we get to color it. And I have a whole bunch of colors in here. These are all my blends. I've got more blends. You know what I don't have for blends though? I don't have a garden green blend, and I really wish I did. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take, I think I've got a shaded spruce, and I'm gonna see if I can maybe tame that down a little bit with maybe a soft sea foam, maybe. We'll just see. I'm not going to color a lot of this, but I do want to put a little bit of the green in there. So I was thinking maybe what I do is do some of, let's do some of the blanket. So they're in this buggy, and he's got a jacket on, and so does she, but they've also got something over their legs. And so I'm going to just assume that's kind of a blanket, and it's got different folds in it. We're just going to color that in there. And that's a really bright green. It doesn't have a little bit of a yellow tone. Oh, you know what? I could put in yellow with that. Let's see how that works. Now, ideally, what I should do is I should blend this off the page first to make sure that it does work the way I want it to work. All right, if I bring this in here, we're getting there. That's not too bad, I don't think. Let me come back in here with this, make it a little bit greener, because it looks a little bit yellow. Maybe I just do the outsides. All right, that looks good. Oh, I'm happy with that, how that came out. Now looks like they've got like little pillows in there or something, which is kind of weird. Maybe it's just more blanket or something. I don't know. They've got something in there. So let's put that in there. Oh, maybe let's have a neutral color in there. We'll put this in there. But I want this to be a little bit Christmassy, so let's go ahead and get out some real red. So I have dark real red, and I have light real red. And if you have these blends at home, you probably got them and you thought, hey, I ordered red pens. Hi, Ann, I'm glad you finally got here. Me too. There's a long story behind that, but you can catch back on the replay. So if you got these, you probably thought, hey, I didn't order pink, I ordered red. The caps look more pink, but they are real red inside. So you can't go by the color of the caps. I got these these labels from, I think, Angie Kennedy Judah. She has them on her site, Chicken Scratch, and you can just punch them out with a 3/8 inch punch. I just glue dotted them on each end, and that way I can tell by looking at them what the color is, because I can't by looking at this cap. All right, so we're going to take this, and I'm going to make my sleigh red. That's going to bring in the Christmas. See how much more red this is? It's not pink. That's a big surface, so I'm going to go ahead and gently, because remember, these are not meant to be colored with harshly, so you can't color like you did when you were in grade school and just like really marker it up. This is a brush tip, so you want to treat it very gently to preserve that tip. And the only time I really use it is if I have to get a really tiny point in there that's smaller than my bullet tip on the other end, or if I have to color a big area like this. So I'm just going to color that in right here. And I'm being very gentle, and notice I'm using the side of my marker. While I'm at it, I might as well add in some red to his hat. Give him a little Santa hat. I'm going to come in here with the darker red, and I'm going to outline this bottom part a little bit and rounding it over here a little bit. And then I want to really put a bunch in here. I want this part a lot darker. Now there is in the die set this little swoosh that you can die cut out of some other cardstock or maybe a metallic foil and put that on there for another accent. There are metallic sleigh runners as well. So you have some options there. I'm going to come back in with my light and just blend this in a little bit. Smooth out that line between the dark and the light. And you'll notice this does change color a bit, and it will not settle until the end after it's dried. It will kind of blend together. That's kind of why they're called blends, and it lightens as it dries. Right now it's still a little bit wet. So what are we going to do for colors? I think he is wearing maybe a dark gray jacket. Let's bring in, let's see, well, I've got my smoky slate, but do I want my smoky slate? Thought I had my grays somewhere. I might have packed them up for my thing tomorrow. All right, well, we'll use the smoky slate. How about that? And I'm going to bring in the dark for his jacket, and the light will be his collar, I think. Or do I want to do a reverse of that? Yeah, I think I want to do a reverse of that. I'm going to do the dark on his collar. This is the bullet tip end. There. And we're going to bring in the light for the rest of his jacket. So a little bit of contrast there. I suppose that looks like it could be a scarf too, because it looks like there's a little teeny tiny piece right down here. All right. Now, what color is she wearing? I think she needs a blue in there. Let's bring in our boho blue. I could bring in Misty Moonlight too. This is, now see, I'm glad I looked at the end. This says Night of Navy Light. That is nowhere near navy. Gotta put that away before I make a mistake with that. I do have some Misty Moonlight though. Let's bring in the Misty Moonlight light. And we've got the boho blue. And I've got that in light, and I've also got it in dark. So let's give her a light boho blue cap, little hat. All right, and she probably needs a coordinating jacket. We'll put that in there as well. So this takes a little bit of time. We're going to give her a little muff. Do people even know what muffs are anymore? All right. And we need to color their faces and hands. I'm going to just bring in Petal Pink. We'll just assume that they're Caucasian here. Oops, that's the dark one. What happens when you do the dark, when you don't want to do the dark? You bring in your trusty dusty color lifter. Couldn't live without this thing. So that will just lighten that right up. And as it dries, it will get even lighter. And so here's the light Petal Pink. That's what I really wanted to use. There are some other neutral colors, especially in the natural tones that Stampin' Up! Carries online. So there, that looks pretty good. Now we got to do our horse. And I'm going to keep the horse pretty simple. I'm going to keep him mostly white with a little bit of gray undertone here. So I'm going to just bring in a little bit of this smoky slate. I'm going to kind of bring it around where some shadows might be. And I have to switch to the bullet point. So coloring is the only thing that takes time on this particular project. After that, you're pretty good to go. Comes together very quickly and easily. I'm gonna put some gray up here. Give him some ears. All right. And then I want the darker smoky slate to be his tail. And the little fur on his little hooves. All right. Oop, we've got his mane up here. Has anybody ever been on a sleigh ride? Comment in the little chat. I have never been on a sleigh ride, at least that I remember. I'm going to blend this in with my little color lifter a little bit. I'm going to kind of lighten the edges here. So I'm just blending away this just because I want him to, it just adds a little bit of gray. See how much nicer that looks? I don't know who made the color lifter and how they came about it, but genius. Makes me feel like an artist. Now I'm thinking I need a little bit more gray up in here because I do like him to have a little bit of a gray feature, I think. So we'll just add a little bit of gray in here. Make him a little more gray. So I'm looking to see. So yeah, Anne, is that yes that you've been on the sleigh ride? I bet it's fun. Especially in the snow, like if the snow is gently falling, I bet that's beautiful. It's probably something everybody should experience. All right, so I've got him kind of blended out. I think that's pretty good. All right, now I need to just add a couple more things. I'm gonna bring in my red again. I'm gonna just tie him in with the sleigh. Gotta have a color coordinated horse. All right, there we go. So we've colored that, and now what we need to do is die cut. So I'm gonna move my markers out of the way. And I'm gonna bring in the dies that go with this. And so when you see the dies, there's a bunch of little snow mounds. I already went ahead and cut out a bunch of those because I knew that I would need them for my project. So I've cut them out and I put them somewhere on this desk that I was frantically clearing so you wouldn't have to look at my mess. See, I even have another horse all die cut. And this one you can see is a little bit different. I made him a little bit more tannish. I think I like the gray better though. Kind of gives it a colder look, which is kind of what we want in the winter. So I've got some of my snow mountains all done. And you've got some trees, you've got lots of different things going on in here. So I'm gonna die cut this, which means I'm gonna need a piece of little washi tape to hold this guy down because he's a very long die. And I think that looks pretty good right there. So let's go ahead. Let's bring in my die cutting machine. Everything is right at my feet, literally. To get across the room is a chore too. So I need plates 1, 2, and 3. Then I need my die. Then I need another, whoops, another plate 3. All right, let's see, run this through here. Hopefully nothing shifted. Ooh, I just caught how close I am on the screen. Woo, that's a tight job. That's okay. Probably helped to see when I was cutting and coloring. All right, let's carefully take this off. We don't want to rip our paper. Okay. And there's the reveal. Looks pretty good. Yay. All right. So now we're gonna bring in, let's bring this in, and we need to figure out, like, okay, let's have him, so you can see the road. It looks like a little road in here. We're gonna have him going up that way. And I think we need some like little, you know, we've got some little snow mounds in here. So with these, you have to build it as you go, and that's yeah, that's right. You need to layer, if you want to layer them, which I do. It's always a good idea to sort of what I call dry fit them. Figure out where you want to place it, and then you can glue them down. And when I glue them down, I'm just really going to glue the bottoms of some of these because I want to have this guy kind of going through the snow, I think, a little bit. Let's go ahead and get my glue out. I'm just going to put the glue along the bottom here. And I can cut off some of the excess. Let's put this down here. There we go. And I cut out a bunch of these, so I have extra to play with, I think. Can overlap those. All right. I think I want some more in here. I just want to add a little bit more dimension. So let me do that, I think. And what I might do is put them up on dimensionals. Now that I just said dimension, I'm going to use some of the scraps here off the edges. And I need to find my scissors. Here they are, right at arm's length. Let's see if I just need little pieces here too. I could use mini dimensionals, but I'm just going to use little pieces. Just giving a little bit more depth. The illusion that there's really something going on in that snow. All right, there's one. And I'm going to bring in, I think, another one of the big ones. Oh, this one's upside down, I think. Sharon, what's the matter with you? It is, but look it's coming off beautifully. All right, so if I stick this down, here we go. And then I need to do the same thing for this one. And that's a long one, so we'll do one here, and one here, and one here. All right. Yep. Okay, I want to overlap it a little bit differently. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and flip this over. Let's see, I got to catch up on what people are saying. Betty has been on so many sleigh rides. It's nice to have connections with relatives that way. It was nice, but you still froze. Yeah, I'd want to make sure I was pretty warm. Oh, you took a sled to get a tree. That's kind of fun. All right, so there we have that. And we can put see how I'm putting him kind of in between both of those layers. So I do want to put some dimensionals on the back so that he's not flopping backwards like that. I guess I can use some more. I'm going to use up the rest of this sheet. And we'll put these on the top part because that's what needs it the most. We'll put a little bit in the middle. I do want to make sure he's anchored pretty well. And you could, like we did yesterday, you could stamp a tree or a bunny frolicking. I'm not going to, but you could. And so maybe we have something that looks like, let me see if I can put him in there. There we go. Riding up the hill. And on the other one that I'm going to show you, I added a ribbon like I had on my seaside inspired one. But I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stamp a sentiment. So let's see what we have for sentiments. We can make this Christmas, wishing you a season of cheer. And I think if we put that on a nice die, that would look good. So we can bring in, what die are we going to use? Let's see. I'm just going to run over here because I've got an idea. Where's my something fancy dies? All right, here they are. Let's see how these are sized for this. All right, so we've got wishing you a season of cheer. Ooh, I don't think this one fits. Let me take it out and get really close up here. Oh, that just barely fits. You know what? Let's try it. Let's die cut it first, and then we'll see what we can do. If it doesn't work, maybe I'll bring in my stylish shapes because I know those work. All right, let's bring my die cutting machine in again. All right, clean off my plates, got a little bit of residue on there. And because I'm using photopolymer, I can die cut first and then stamp. Alrighty, here we go. What color should we stamp in? Should we stamp in Misty Moonlight or should we stamp in Real Red? Somebody vote. Somebody tell me what to stamp in. I'm going to blame you if it all goes wrong. I think it should be Real Red. You know what? I'm not going to wait for an answer. I'm going to do Real Red. But if somebody wants to chime in and say, yes, Real Red is a good option, go right ahead. It'll make me feel better. Who's going to make me feel better? That's the question. That's not Real Red. That's Shaded Spruce. I don't want Shaded Spruce. So I have my colors organized by color family alphabetically. And Shaded Spruce and Real Red are right next to each other in the alphabet as far as that color family goes. This is so close. So tight. I don't know if I like it. No, that's really too tight. Sorry, that's not going to work. So let's go ahead and get out our stylish shapes. And I have those out and pretty close at hand because I'm using them tomorrow at my Christmas in July class. So I know this one works. So we can put that right up there. Yeah, that'll work. Let's do that. So now I need to stamp again in my red. You know what? Let's die cut first. I do like die cutting first. If I can help it, I'm just going to do this off at the floor because I don't have to haul it all the way up there again and get up close and personal to you. That was quick and easy. So I love the stylish shapes because it puts that little stitching on the edge They're very stylish. They get their name from their style. Let's go ahead and stamp this again. All right, wishing you a season of cheer. Am I on the camera here? Yeah, I think I am. I'm going to stand up. And hope that's straight. Yep, not bad. Now, here's a thought. I thought about something. I'm like, well, what if I don't want this Christmassy? I just want it to be sort of, wintry. What I thought about doing was mounting this with Velcro, and then I could change it out. Can't I elongate the die by an inch? I probably could, but not quickly. So I wasn't going to do that. But I think we have something that looks like that, and that looks pretty nice. And then let's do what we did last night with some of this ribbon. And how are we going to put this on? Let's do a different treatment though this time. Maybe something that looks just like this. Let's see how a bow would look. Oh, this one's going to be too tiny for a bow, I think. Let me try. Let me try. Ooh. I think I successfully tied a tiny bow. It's really tiny. And I don't know if I want a tiny bow, by the way. So let's look. We can just do that. Trim the ends. How would that look? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I like that. So let's just not mess with it anymore. I'll just show you my other idea in a second. I do like my blue one better. But this one is more festive. And I really do like the idea of attaching it with Velcro dots, because then you can change out the sentiment. So when it's not Christmas anymore, then you can change it to something not Christmas. So here we have something that looks like this. Now, if I have this, I'm almost tempted, not almost tempted, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna change my background. I'm gonna change it to red, because I can. You guys ever do that? You start a project thinking, oh, I'm gonna use this color card base, and this is the one thing I know, and then you end up changing the one thing you know because, I don't know, the project took on a life of its own, and now it's different. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an 8x8 that's red. So this will be more festive. And now we're just about done. I'm gonna bring in my piece of basic white. Let's go ahead and adhere this. Just try to get that in the center as best we can. That's why I love the liquid glue. It gives me a little bit of wiggle time, if you will. And then we're going to glue this to the red piece. I do not know how this is going to come out. Yes, Anne, you're right. It is easier with a punch to elongate. All right. So there we have. Is that straight? That's relatively straight. Let me go ahead and let's see. I'm going to take my other picture out of this frame, because that's what I can do. I can now have this frame up in my house all year long. Now, I've kept the glass in the back. I didn't want to ruin some of the dimension here. So I just kept the glass in the back so that it would, what would it do? Oh, it would give the thickness that's needed for this backing so things wouldn't wiggle around. Let's try putting it in the front. The glass pane itself is very dirty right now because I've been handling it and handling it. It's normally in the back. So let's see, where's the top? There we go. Whoops. Some of you are like, what is she doing? You know, plain and simple, what I need is sugar. And so after this, my husband's already told me we're going out for ice cream afterwards, so I'm going to get sugar. Oops, there we go. And so there is our, oh, I like that. But you know what it needs? It needs something. What am I thinking of that it needs? Tell me, tell me. You know. I know you know. It needs snowflakes. Yes, it's not a cardigan. Nope, tonight it was home decor. Yeah, that's right. You came in a little bit late, so you missed that. I'm going to take this out again. And let's go ahead and just put a couple of snowflakes on this. That'd be fun. And we can even put it out here. Let's see, there's all sorts of different sizes. So we can put some in here. Maybe even put one right there. I think I want more snowflakes. I mean, I could put some gold ones on. The copper ones are not going to match with the red as far as I'm concerned. That's too close to the other one. Some of these are only going to show up when you're seeing them sparkle in the light. All right. I'm going to move this one out. Sorry, little guy, you got to come out this way. All right. Now let's put him back. Top is up there. So let's go ahead and put this up to the top. So this is how I hang it. And there I have a nice Christmas version. What do you think? I am glad I made the change to the red. It definitely looks more festive, don't you think? All right, so we went from here's summer in Maine to here's winter in Maine. Let me show you the other version that I had. And I did not put the glass over this one because I used ribbon again. Here's the blue one that I did. I love the colors in this one so much. So that's the blue one. I definitely like this one better for Christmas, and I like this one better for dead of winter in Maine. So I don't have to choose now though, do I? Because I have both. And so once you have the frame, like honestly, even if you're just getting one frame and it's $10, like it is so easy and inexpensive to change it out season after season. Anne's like, this would be a wonderful gift to a good neighbor. You are so right. What a great Christmas gift. So this isn't about just your home decor. It's also about maybe gifting it to somebody else. And I think you're right. It is a beautiful gift. And every time they look at it, they're going to think of you. So on this one, you can see I did stamp that, I call it a barren tree, but it's more like a barren shrub or something. I stamped that directly on the paper. That was not there before. And then I colored in blues and grays and a little bit of the petal pink because there's a little petal pink here in that sky. And then this is the, I don't know, faux denim ribbon or denim something ribbon. What is this? Let's see, what's it called? Gotta find, oh, it's bordered ribbon. So this is the Night of Navy bordered ribbon. So that ties things in nicely. All right, let me turn you around. Ooh. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. Just a reminder that if you wanted the project kit that would allow you to make 2 of every one of the projects that I made on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, then simply place an order of $35 or more in my online store using the host code. It is not in the description of this video. You'd have to go to the other video, or you have to just wait until a little bit later when I redo the video details, because I was really late coming on, and you know how it goes. So, but there is a host code that will allow you to get that. If your order is $50 or more, you'll also get a $5 bonus days coupon that you can use in August towards a purchase. And if your order is $65 or more, I'm going to throw in a package or a spool of Christmas ribbon. It might be the glittered white organdy, it might be the red and gold dotted ribbon, or it might be the red faux linen. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. This has been such a fun Christmas in July for me. 5 days is a lot for me to come live. And look, I only missed a few minutes and was late tonight. That's not too bad for me. But I have my one last Christmas thing to go. Tomorrow I have Christmas in July class that I'm really looking forward to, and I know some of you that are watching will be there. So I can't wait to see you then. And for the rest of you, I will see you soon. When am I going to see you next? Well, I guess next Friday. But check out my Facebook. There's all sorts of things coming up. I'm going to be updating my total for my fundraiser, my July fundraiser for autism, and you can see how we're doing. And if you want to help out with that, again, if you place an order in my online store, my total commission on that will go to benefit a house for me, which is helping adults with autism in the Southern Maine area. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great weekend. This has been a fun week. It's hot today, but Christmas in July, always a winner. Bye-bye.